This is Van Electric Ghost. This is episode 113, the Teenage Engineering OPZ Demos Part 4. So as I mentioned a couple of days ago, we got our OPZ from Teenage Engineering this past Saturday. We were waiting for this thing for like 3 years. We always wanted an OP1, but we went to OPZ because it is a revelation. It is a little micro workstation. It's kind of like having an FA08 or Chord Kronos at a micro level where you can do drum beats, you can do samples, you can do bass lines, you can do chords, you can do an ARP, like arpeggiator. You can do effects, you can do all kinds of editing. You can make full songs. You can take patterns and chain them together. You can quantize, you can unquantize, you can send effects. The one thing I would mention is that the effects processor in this version applies to everything, which actually would be better if you could do it track by track. Hopefully they'll do an update to do that. Hopefully there is supposed to be a module which I've seen that can add a CV capability, so you could actually CV sequence like a Moog Mother 32 or a DFAM. They're also, what I'd like to know is there going to be a module where you could actually save to an SD card, like an external SD card module. It'd be cool if they have other modules. And I'd like to know about the sound engines, like in the future, because I have not seen on the app how to actually bring other sound engines in. It'd be cool if you could bring OP1 sound samples, and it would be good if they actually made an app to create samples through an app for the iPhone or something. Make an iPhone app that allow you to take like your wave files that you do. Like I have a make noise morphogene. It'd be cool if I could take a morphogene sample and bring it in through some kind of app and then bring it into the OPZ. So Teenage Engineering, if you're listening to that, that'd be kind of cool. I know you already have like somewhat of a solution with the OP1, but people say it's kind of clunky. But that's more technical. Let's get into these demos. So what I did is I've gotten better with this OPZ. And so I think one of the best songs I've written so far is called The Flower That Blooms at Midnight in the Tomb. Now, this is totally done on the OPZ except for the vocal. The vocal was done on a VT4 vocal transformer. And it is, the new Roland vocal transformer for the Josephine Electric Voice. We ran it through a MX1 mixer as well as running the OPZ through an MX1. Recorded directly into a Zoom R24. And that's our workflow. We didn't add anything else from our other synths. We didn't add any Moog or Turrier or anything else. It's all OPZ except for the vocals on the VT4. Now, The Flower That Blooms at Midnight in the Tomb kind of talks about this dark, kind of sadomasochist exercise that Josephine's always into. So Josephine Electric is my alter ego, and she is a S&M goddess. She's a dominatrix. She's into fetishes. She's into all kinds of kinky sex. And she's basically kind of talking about the dark side of love, that there's this flower that blooms at midnight in the tomb, which is like, the dungeon that she's in. And, that there's having sex with him and her and him and her and him. And it's an orgy. It's really out of control. And she's just, wondering if she's going to be with that dude or, who's next. And then she kind of goes really all out into this like very, mystical, poetic, sadomasochist, fire, desire, conflagration, total sex, wall to wall, totally unrestrained, musical sex. And what I try to do with the OPZ is I'm using like everything under the sun, all the different wells and whistles that you can use with this thing. And I quantized every track, and I wanted to have kind of a hip hop jazz feel. It's expansive sound. It's kind of similar to what I do with the MX1 mixer. I've done this in the past on some tracks where I've done a lot of heavy effects, a lot of real time using the dial on MX1 to kind of dial these things in. This machine, the OPZ, has a tape capability that allows you to kind of do scratched in real time on a track, and I recorded live into the R24. So that's the flower that blooms at midnight in the tombs. The other song is like Position to F, which is like Position to Fuck. And this is just another exercise in Dungeon of getting more explicit about the sexual preferences that Josephine has. And, so, it just goes into, it's a sex romp again. Now, these type of songs may offend some people who don't have sensibilities to, mix like sex and kinky and kink and sadomasochism and fetish and bondage and all these things. They might say, oh, yeah, the fam's getting out of control. You don't want your teenage kids listening to this. So, it's a low extreme. But like, again, I have, for a very long time, loved the Lou Reed and the Velvet Underground first record with Nico. And they had a whole exercise about S&M in that first album. Taste the Whip is one of the lines from the first Velvet Underground album, basically talks about the same kind of thing. So this has been something that I get into all the time in the music. So we've been diving into Josephine's character in that way. She's that's the whole image. The weird thing is, I think I talked about it before. When I created Josephine Electric, some of the people, thought she was real and did kind of pick up the vibe before I even had her really taking on this in song, that she was a dominatrix. And I don't know how you can tell that from her voice, but maybe because I'm a guy playing a woman, I have this deep voice. And when I run it in soprano mode and I put my effects on it, it has a very kind of vapid, vivacious, sultry sound to it. And it just feels like, Josephine is sex. She is like the embodiment of ethereal and material sex. And she's all about it. And that's everything that she is. And I'm kind of a sex addict myself. And I just project the way I would think, the female part of me would behave. And she behaves somewhat, it's really like, how is a woman or a man supposed to behave? There's all these preconceptions. My idea is, Josephine is not scared of being very assertive. She's not scared of being the one to be the alpha. She's not, afraid to be dominated, but she's not afraid to dominate. She's willing to go everywhere in sex with men and women. And she's willing to have no taboos when it comes to any kind of sexual content. And that's just her nature, herself. That's what she is. And since she's like this phantom, she's just this ethereal vision, like an Athena goddess. She's just a representation, like Venus. She is everything about it, about the act. When we've gotten into before, where we've had songs where we get into the idea of little death, which was Tennyson, a Victorian poet's concept for orgasms. And we used that a lot to try to, talk about, her experiencing that. These songs don't go into that vein. We don't mask it as much. We're getting more explicit. But in the early days, we had songs where we really tried to mask, exactly what was going on in terms of direct language. But we're very excited about the Teenage Engineering OPZ. It has a lot of capability. We'd like to see them, provide different sound engines. I'd like them to be able to give us more clear samples. And unless I don't understand it, I don't know if there's an undo, redo capability. I know you can erase a track. I know you can mute a track. But I haven't seen, it would be cool if they have, undo, redo. That you can just take the last thing you did and undo it. And all these things could be updated in different firmware. So I'm hoping that will work. And I have an iPhone and I have a Chromebook, and I haven't been able to tell, I haven't done an update of the firmware yet on whether or not you can do it right on the phone, or I think you have to do it on a PC. Well, I don't know if you can do it on a Chromebook. So I have to check into that. But, that's technical. But I'm very happy with what we've been able to do with the OPZ. And just to let everybody know, we are sponsored, and we do interviews with indie bands and actors and artists. So if you're interested and doing an interview, contact us. If you're a business and you want to sponsor the Ghost, we can create a script and actually run an ad like the one you hear on this episode. So we're able to do that, and it's pretty good cost-effective concept, and we can send you the information on how to sign up for that. Otherwise, we are continuing to record for our Dark Ghost album. We're working with Digger's Factory to get Volume 1 out. It's a 2-vinyl album. It will be on CD as well. We're looking at putting that out in 2019. We're already working on Volume 2 and Volume 3. Just to get into it, Volume 3 might have a lot of these OPZ experiments. We were kind of looking at taking our Cancer book of poetry that we did back in the 90s. We did a book called Cancer that talked about cancer on all different levels. And it's all this poetry that we were thinking of doing spoken word examples. Now, we actually have a song that we put out called That Curve Rings a Bell. And on our SoundCloud, it got 1,500 listens in like one day. And so that is a very good sign. And we're thinking maybe Dark Ghost Volume 3 is going to center around the cancer poems and these other experiments with the OPZ. And we'll maybe use that as a total OPZ-based album, just as the VT4 for recording the vocal. So that's one thing we're looking at. Hope everybody has a great holiday season, and we'll talk to you more. We're going to be talking to some bands this week and into next week before the holidays. And we thank you for listening to us, and we'll talk to you later. I feel insecure with my hopes are so torn about you. I feel so insecure with you. When we touch, it feels like I'm torn into that dude, into that dude, into that dude, and it comes through. When I'm with you, I feel so insecure when I'm with you. I don't know if it's within my heart who's next to do. Oh, I feel so insecure with you. Torn into. Don't know if you're gonna give it to the girl that does. Torn into. Asphyxiation low. I'm not that low. The darker flower blooms at midnight in the tomb. Flower blooms at midnight in the tomb. The dark cloud shows. I feel so insecure when I'm with you. I feel like I'm gonna get torn into. Now you're with that girl or that dude. Asphyxiation low. We can still do that, dude. Don't know if
And this is what you call mercy. And you know it's all about lust. Ain't about love. Ain't about drugs. It's all about the holy fuck. If you wanna talk, you might as well hit the door and walk. I'm about to lay, I'm all about that hate, I'm all about that lay. You better not be fake. It's all about a fuck. You better get it up and trust me. I'm best when it's wrong. I'm best when it ain't love. I'm best when it's right. You better fuck. You better fuck. You better fuck. I had enough. Oh, it's all about that lady. It's all about that face. You know that hate is how we play. The sugar around my neck, you know, I made face. But you know, this ain't no game. You're definitely gonna be my slave. It's a dominant way. It's a dominant way. You may wake up in a narcotic pain. Oh, that's about that fuck. You better do it. You better get it up. You better get it up. It's all about that and lust. No, don't trust, but you don't care. I don't care, 'cause all I want to do is fuck. You better get it live. You better have it live. I need that stuff. I need that love. I don't give a shit about love. I don't want those drugs. I just want that stuff. I want that. Holy fuck. Better get it up. Better get it up. You better get it up. I don't care about love. Better get it up. I just want fuck. I just want fuck. Better get it up. Better get it up. Don't care about that drug. Don't care about material stuff. Want you down. Want you to be my diamond. I'll be your whore. Want you to be my alpha. I'll be your toy. Want you to be my alpha. I'll be the toy. And I'll be my alpha. But you got no toy. I'll be my diamond. I'll be your alpha. I'll be your diamond. I'll be your beta. I'll be your beta. I'll fuck you later. Oh boy. Want you to be my diamond, I'll be your be that dog and don't call it. Pull it, and I will holler. Yeah. Pull it tighter. Like I always do when we hit. I can't burn. Oh, damn it, first. Darling, I'll come to you. Damn it, first. That's true. I can't burn. I came all over you. Damn it, first. And that is true. Your blood is blood. Sex all over you. Blood is blood. Sex is all over you. Blood was sex on you. You know that blood was and that sex is all on you. Blood was and that sex is on you. All the blood was on that hex is on you. All those blood was on that sex is all over you.